everybody, it's Corey, the Reset Girl. I am about to do some crafting with my little master notebook here. And I had mentioned in a couple videos ago, that I was going to do a kind of a makeover on my notebooks and take two of them and make them into one. And I have pre-printed my little magazine cover that I designed for these so that I can have everything all branded and together with my other little books. Here's my Reset magazine cover. This is like for my little crafty book that I showed you how I was just kind of putting together a playbook. And then here was the book that I put together for my my word for the year, and which is strengthen. And so I did this. So we have gotten a lot of enthusiasm, and a lot of girls are just loving the covers. So we are launching a printable version of some of these covers. I am going to modify a few of the titles because I made mine very specific to me. Like Strength in Magazine probably wouldn't, interest some of you. But I was going to make some different versions, put some different girls on the cover. So we are going to launch a printable shop, and we are launching with these ladies. And in addition, we're going to also offer the letter size planner printables that I came up with that I use in my own planner. So I have slowly but surely been getting everything kind of like perfected for my 2017 planner and how I'm going to plan my year. I went through a lot of trial and error in 2016, and I kind of feel like I have found like the perfect format, the perfect solution. I feel like I have planner peace. I'm very excited to have it all come together, but I wanted to talk about this portion of planning, which doesn't get a lot of, people don't talk a lot about or show off, or I don't ever really see the humble notebook get used and kind of shared at all in the planner community. We're very focused on our planner itself and just kind of showing our daily pages, our weekly pages, how we decorate. But really what I have found is that planning itself, like planning out something, requires space, real estate. It requires lots of lined paper, grid paper, places to like write out your thoughts and ideas, have a place to kind of like download all of the worries and concerns you have, or all the brainstorming you're doing. This has been my brainstorm book for the pretty much the entire 2016 year. I started it in February. I kicked it off by my note-taking that I did in February of 2016. And then as like I turned the pages, I can see that I started sketching out. Here were my my planner pages. I started sketching out what my little planner inserts were going to be, and I started writing out like how I was going to set up my created workshop, the first workshop that I ever did. I had kind of a to-do for the house, how I was going to get things set up in our old house, which we ended up moving, so I never had to execute on any of it. I used these pages to brainstorm, to try out different titles, names, to create launch schedules. I mean, you can see it's not super pretty, but it was super crucial. It was important. It was the backbone of my business, and I loved the fact that I kept everything in one notebook, and this was invaluable to me as time went on, and I kept kind of tweaking and getting better at different things, and I would use the notes. It became like an archaeological kind of history of how I had improved and done things. And so this little thing got water damage from being in my bag with my water bottle, but I loved it. I loved that the pages started getting all wavy and icky. I put notes in here from when I was, I love doing free webinars. So I always take lots and lots of notes. Here was my little master planner. This is my whole planner team. So each planner that I own has a job. And so I would write out like what that planner is, what I put in it, and then I have this little master sheet. So that's how I started like my path of planner piece, is I started categorizing different areas of my life with my planners. And so this kind of made so much sense and help. Like here is a perfect example. These are all of the workshops that I have paid for for the last, I don't know, 2 years maybe. Look at how many I've actually taken. Probably 1, 2, maybe. This is really typical of people because I hear this all the time. And there's stuff in here that I need to take, super valuable. And I'm not sorry that I've signed up for these things. I just need to execute on them. And so these are things that I need to start adding to my planner. I want to start spending like an hour a day, which I call my inbox time, where I work on what I need to do for myself, my inbox, like what I need to do to strengthen myself, to get better skills. And this list is really helpful because I would have forgotten some of the things I've purchased. So this tells me like, Corey, like start checking some of these off, start going through them. So I kind of went through this and I made a note here. This whole section right here, I want to keep and for my next planner, because this was my first, this starting here was my first of all of like the really good pages where I have like a list of blogs I'm in love with, girl boss influencers that I really like and what their area of expertise is. So there's like a lot of like resources built into this. So I want to keep this. Some of the pages in here I don't need anymore, but a lot of them have value. So what I was thinking is I'm going to go ahead and take them apart and put them together on a big, like one big coil. And then I'm going to cover this with my little covers that I bought. So we're going to see how this all works out. I have some planners that I own already that have nice thick coils that line up with these. And I'll give you an example. So this was from my One Canoe 2 planner. So I just repurposed it, and these nice big coiled planners have these wonderful big thick coils on them. I also purchased coils, which I could use too, but I think I'm gonna grab that because I didn't do that before. So 1 second. Okay, so here's a couple options. A lot of us have coil bound planners. I have never used an entire coil bound planner. I would end up going down that road and I wouldn't finish it. So I have one from an old inkwell planner, and when I kind of line up the holes, I can see that that would line up, so I could use this coil. I could take it off of this and put it in here. Then I went and I bought some brand new coils. Now these are longer than I need, but I also have a little tool to kind of snip the wire and shorten it, so that's an option too. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start by pulling these coils off. And I've noticed that all of these type of double wires, it's called double wire O, these little double wires here, they all have the same process. If you really open up and look at it, they don't even overlap, they're not connected, they just kind of like fit together in between. Do you see how the little pointy ends kind of fit in between the big wider ones? So it's just a matter of kind of prying those open a little bit more so that you can pull out the, you can separate and pull the paper out. I do not, I've done this now twice. I do not have any type of like skill set at it or like trick. It's just a matter of kind of being gentle. But I can show you right here, you can see on this one that you can see how the wire was snipped right there. So that's what you could do if you used a brand new wire O. You could just snip it at the end like that book was done. So I'm going to start prying this apart. Last time I used this little metal ruler and it was kind of helpful. So I'm going to see if I can just do it again. This wire is actually a little thinner and weaker than the bigger planner one. So it's either going to be easier or more difficult. I'm not reusing this wire, so I'm fine with kind of it getting malformed because it's not going to be used again. The last notebook that I did this to was this one. It was a little bando notebook, and it worked fine. The coils came back together. It's still nice and snug. So these are pretty sturdy. And this one was a much thinner wire. This one's a sturdy one. These notebooks are made by a company called Fringe Studio. And I originally purchased this at TJ Maxx for $4.99. It was such a good deal, and I wish I'd grabbed like 5 of them. Well, this one, after I found out that I loved them so much, I went back to buy more, and I could not find them in my area. I'm sure that might not be the same where you live, because I've heard other people have better, have had better luck. But they're still sometimes available at TJ Maxx, at possibly Marshall's or Home Goods, and would probably still be $4.99. These were $14.99 at Paper Source, and I bought 2 of them, one for my faith projects and then one for an extra one for this. Okay, so I'm pulling the coil apart. And honestly, there's in our community, all of us we're such paper lovers. I'm sure you have a notebook in your arsenal that you would be okay with, getting rid of, or not getting rid of, I should say, but repurposing it. So I'm just pulling out the papers that I'm keeping because I marked them up. And personally, I love how the paper got kind of like, it got kind of wavy and a little messy from getting water on it. I think that's all. In some cases, when I have a messy page and I just want to start over, I was just taking planner paper and just washing it right over and then starting again. So, and I did that here too. So there's a lot of merit in just like, if you just kind of wrote things out, you could totally just cover it with a nice clean page from your planner. Okay, so that's all I wanted to take from this one. And I'm gonna unsnap my little tassel. It's kind of sad in a way. So on this one, it has a rose gold coil and it has rose gold pages, which this kind of gilding stuff, it does wear off over time. So again, I'm not concerned. I'm not reusing this coil. I'm replacing it with a much bigger coil so that it'll fit all of these pages. All I'm going to repurpose is the cover and the paper. When I look at all of the coil bound planners I have, it's actually kind of cool because I keep thinking like, what else can I make? What else do I need? Because you can make your own planner inserts. You could totally make your own DIY planner or notebook depending on what you needed. Okay, so in this case, I can just literally just pull it out like this. Get it out. I'm kind of thinking maybe I might just try this other coil over here that's sitting. Maybe if all I have to do is just snip the wire, that isn't too hard. In my head, it seems like it's going to be hard, but maybe I'm just making more out of it than. Okay, there's my little wiggly jiggly wire. I'll go ahead, I'll be brave, I'll just try this, and if this doesn't go the way I hope it will, I will just take apart my other planner. So these come from Zutter, is where I bought them online, from Zutter itself. And they're the antique brass They come in antique brass, black, and I think silver. And they're 1.25 inches, so they're fairly large. Is probably what you would find on one of the larger coil like the coil bound planners. I'm fairly confident that this was probably 1.25 inches, maybe even 1.5 inches. Okay, so I have that done. Now I have my 2 covers. So I'm gonna get my artwork on the covers first. And I'm gonna pretty much do this like I did in my other video where I did this completely just guessing. The sticker, I think this is printed on sticker paper, so it's printed a little bit larger than I need, which is fine. And you can see that I'll have to kind of like make the holes myself. I do have a cinch punch, but I think it's just easier to punch it with my scissors. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach this, and hopefully I will have as good a luck as I did last time I tried this. Using one big sticker is a little scary, I have to admit. But I like the sticker paper. It sticks far nicer to the cover than using glue stick. Okay, that took a lot longer than I thought. Okay, so I finally got the edge unpeeled, and I have it like this, just like I did last time. So I have just the edge unpeeled, and I'm going to apply it to the cover. And I think what I'm going to do is do it this way, where I'm applying the cover to the sticker, so I can make sure that I get it as close and even as possible to the edge. You might notice like the audio in this video is a little different, and that's because I don't have I normally have like a little lapel mic attached. But because Mr. Crafty is leaving on that trip to Florida, like I mentioned in my last video, I wanted to practice being able to turn the camera on and film on my own. Because normally he has to help me. He has multiple cameras and everything set up, and I don't know how to do all that, but I asked him, could you just teach me how to get the one camera on, like we used to do back in the old days, and I could film on my own while he's gone. So I just don't, the sound is just kind of different. It's like it used to be when I used to make my videos back in the day. Okay, so I'm doing really good. I have it really good on this edge. This edge down here just needs to be trimmed. It's got a little tiny bit of overlap. But I think what I need to do is use my ruler. Make sure I don't get any air bubbles. This is probably like my favorite cover girl out of all of them. Okay, so I'm smooshing it down. I don't feel any bubbles. Okay, so now here's where I'm going to do my little trimming. I feel like the notebooks that are out there are kind of either this size right here, which is I can't remember the exact size, but I think it's like a 7x10. They're either 7x10 or they're the full letter size. That seems like the common size. I don't know what other, like if you did an Erin Condren type notebook, I don't know what their sizes are off the top of my head, but 7x10 seems like it's good size, and if you leave a lot of bleed on the edges, then it would accommodate different types of notebook is what I'm thinking, if you design your own or choose to go ahead and purchase one of ours. So there's my cover, and then I just need to poke the holes with my scissors through here, and it's super super professional here. I'm just cutting it, and it actually, these holes are fairly large compared to the last notebook that I did, so I'm just going to push the paper back down through the cover. If you wanted to, if you did this and you happen to have like the cinch or any of that, you could certainly go back and punch with your cinch. I am not very experienced with my cinch, so I don't trust myself to get the holes lined up perfectly. And I find that I'm okay with doing things like this. The paper, when it pokes up, I'm just kind of trimming it with my little bitty scissors here and just kind of trimming it down. I don't know if they make a square single hole punch out there. It's possible. I don't happen to own one. Mine are all round, which isn't the shape I'm going for here. But this works fine. I'm just poking my scissors through and kind of pushing the paper into the square shape that it needs to be. And then you could go back and kind of trim that paper away with the scissors. If I make this decision, I feel like I'm committed now to doing it that way. So I want to kind of take a look at my example here I have. So assembling these is kind of, I always feel like it's a little tricky because you have to pay attention. You're kind of putting on the book a little backwards. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the way this one is, so it's going to thread on here. Oop. Okay, so I'm threading it on, and it's going to be like that. I'm just double checking because I don't want to have to redo the whole thing again. So that does not look right. So here's, maybe I have it backwards. Maybe the cover is what goes on last. Okay. So here's my good paper. Here's my old paper, and here's my good paper. My new paper, I should say. And I want it to go on like this. And so when you put it all together, you can see it's a lot of paper that I'm trying to get on here. So this is like that. So how do I make don't know if it's a good idea to try to get it all on at once. Ooh, but it's working. It went right through it. Okay. I'm not going to get too excited because I really truly don't know if I got this going in the right direction or not. So I won't know until I pull it out here. So I could have just done it backwards. Yes, I did. Okay, so somehow this has to get, I just don't understand how though. Let me try it this way. Oh, that's how it goes. Okay. I haven't done this enough times that I remember how to do it, and I'm like a total trial by error girl. So now that you have it, just try to this is the tricky part. It's figuring out how to get the coil into everything is the problem. So your cover goes face down, and then your little wire, your little coil, the little skinny tips go down into it first. So they're the ones that are kind of doing the hard work. There they come. I'm surprised that I can actually get all the little wires through this big pile of paper, and it's really not that hard. I thought I'd have to do it like in group stacks of paper, like I couldn't get it all in at once, but it's working. So see how the little skinny, you want the little skinny guys to come, the skinny tips. There's a wide one here and a skinny tip here. So the skinny ones, you want to have them come up through the cover. I just need to like remind myself of that. Okay, now it is a matter of getting on this cover. This is the back cover. And then when this, oops, when this comes together, it will, okay. So here's where I'm going to go grab my cinch, because that's what I need to bring this, to pinch these together and do it in a as round as possible, and hopefully it'll fit in the machine. I might have picked a coil too wide. Okay. I went and grabbed my cinch. This is the older version. They have a new one now that's the square hole like this, and the square hole is the Heidi Swap version. Okay, so push and turn. I told you I didn't really know this machine very well. So let's see here. How am I going to get this smushed? I think like that. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe not. I keep wanting to pull it towards me instead of push it. I think this is going to be like a little bit of a process getting these coils in here. I'm going to snip it right here at the end when I finally get them. Whoa. I pushed that one so much that it bent right away. I'm sure some of you who have cinches are like absolutely horrified right now. You're like, what are you doing? But the truth is I am totally have no idea, and I have used it one time before, and it actually worked, but the coils weren't this big. They weren't this spread out, so I'm thinking if I just kind of help it along. I took a coil from my One Canoe 2, and then just kind of bent it right back. maybe if I try it like that. Oh, that works better. Okay, so I kind of like bent the coil, kind of moved it around a little bit so it was kind of, see now it's kind of coming together. And if you kind of twist it around and give it, like, it all gets a chance to get in there, then it won't get bent out of shape, literally. There we go, now it's working. Okay, so I have this little wire cutter, and it looks like, it looks like it's the thick part that you just, cut. I think I need to get Mr. Crafty involved in that. That is way too hard for me to, I have like super weak little wrists. Okay. It's also possible that this might need more paper. Maybe this is not enough paper. Ooh, it almost came off. It's almost there. I just don't want my, I just don't want it to get misshapen. I want it to stay nice and round. There we go. I can see it smushing together. That's really cool. I kind of in my head thought it was like this one press and you were done, but it's not. It's kind of like a continuous pressing there. I also didn't know how it's still not enough. Oop. They're still not connected enough. Close. Okay, so I'm going to turn them so that they have to smush down more. Okay, at this point I'm going to press each little guy, his little nose into the hole. And that will further secure it because they each have a little hole to go into. Okay, I'm going to have to get my excellent. Okay, so maybe I didn't need, it was just a matter of, there, it's kind of bending that. Okay, so that should be better and should hook on there. Okay, so now I have this Mondo big notebook. Okay, so let's see what we have to deal with here. It's so cool. It's like this big, giant notebook. So now I can take part of 2016, which had a lot of valuable information. I can take it and keep adding for 2017 in my big. So one thing I could do, because I can feel like the covers are a little flimsy, and I can see where maybe I'd be probably a little better off if I had a harder cover, like from one of my planners. So I might go ahead and do that. I might see if I have a planner that would fit. It's kind of a little narrow, and I think that of the ones I can remember that were more narrow might be something like the simplified planner or the day designer. The one that I had originally might work with this, because I want to make sure that the paper kind of stays, because you can see the difference. This one's pretty wide, and I don't want the paper to be like have a be all in here and the covers are sticking out a lot. So I don't know. I also like the covers are soft too. So now I have a whole notebook for all of this, my life. So I am really excited. That was a big step, big thing on my task list of trying to get that off, and it wasn't that bad. Now, if you don't have a cinch, I would wonder if that could be, if the coils could be pressed by hand. And I'm going to look on YouTube to see if that is possible, because I really don't know. But what I can tell you is, if you do have a planner, a previous planner, you could find a notebook paper, which is all this is, it's just notebook paper. You saw what it was. I just took notebook paper and, repurposed the cover. But if you wanted to use an existing planner you have and just repurpose the coil, the cover, and you just want to put, new artwork on it, you could certainly do that. I just wanted everything to be kind of cohesive and look all nice together. And I really like this. This is really awesome. Now I have my boss notebook again. This has been probably the best thing that I have done for my business, for planning in general, is having one notebook that I've kept everything in. It has saved me so many times I can't even tell you. I have so many little notebooks and planners running around that it would be so easy to lose them for sure. So this was a Electrum pen holder. That's what I had in this before. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to repurpose it, because I don't want to leave it behind. I'm pulling out my adhesives, and I think I have the strongest adhesive that I have in here is the E6000. So I think I'm going to try putting this back on again with that and see how it does. And if it doesn't hold it, then I will grab another one, because I actually bought a few of these little pen holders because I love them so much, and they are so handy. They're one of my little go-to essentials. But I have no idea how well this will hold with putting a pen in it and kind of pulling it in and out every day. So I'm going to get some on there pretty good. I can't tell you enough. Grab yourself one of these little guys. It's so awesome to have one in your notebook. You can throw a pen in there. You'll always have it handy. So whether you decide, this is how I made it work, by taking 2016 and 2017 together, because I didn't want to have two notebooks, and there was stuff in here that I really wanted to hold on to. Really valuable notes that I had made, things that still mattered to me. So if you have not ever tried this method of just using a single notebook, I highly recommend it. Even if you're working at home or at work, keep one notebook. Write everything in it. All your brainstorming, all your ideas, planning out events, planning out, I planned out all my workshops, kit launches. I've done so much in this notebook that it has become like a history of my learning process and how I've gotten better and done things differently and better. You know, you're always trying to be a better version. This is a great way of keeping track of your fitness goals, self-care. Don't jump around and use different notebooks. Now they have a little piece and part, you know, spread out all over the place. Use one thing to record it all in. And this was my solution for taking 2 notebooks and making one. So that's definitely an option. And when I get to the end of 2017, it will be interesting to see what I have, you know, what I do from here. You know, how do I just go ahead and shelf this and just start over fresh? Because I might do that. But this is a great way of repurposing supplies that you have. I just bought a new set of coils, and I have a lot, and I know quite a few of us have a lot of planners, notebooks laying around, so I plan on doing this again with some other notebooks that I have to make something else, to repurpose, to use for another project. So these two together, this is how I plan. I use my notebook for actually planning out, you know, the details, but I reference these notes, I reference these projects in my actual planner, which is in here. So I have to get this set up with my actual planner pages. So I just have my brand planning blueprint that I made for myself. So I'm gonna get my planner pages set up in here next, get that all going, and then I will be able to record and show you what I have, because I have true planner piece going on in here. And this is just part of the team. So this is one of my most important, I would definitely say this is my quarterback. If we were comparing it to football, this is my quarterback. This is the one that it all starts with, and the one that kind of decides the plays and how, you know, I'm going to get things done. It all starts out here. So the Humble Notebook, ladies, could be a very valuable part of your team. And you know, planners are awesome, but I feel like they're kind of the final say. They're like the final decision. It's the final place where I put things in pen. This is where I'm making a mess, getting out all my creative thoughts. So consider how you can, you know, utilize a notebook along with your planner to be a great team for you. You will not regret this decision. I cannot tell you all the things that I've done for myself in my planning, you know, career. This would be one of the things I have been the most grateful for, is just the simple fact I added a notebook into my planning, and grabbing both at the same time, and off I go to do my plans. So there you go. There's my little planner team. So next step, I will be getting together, you know, how I'm planning for 2017. Can't wait to show you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.